Well, good morning. Monday morning tea time with Mick. Got my Colorado mug, just fresh off of my 2-week vacation where I played hard. Now I'm back at it. I hope your last couple of weeks was a good time as we finalize our summer. I know many people are going back to school today, so God bless each and every one of your families. I want to give us a word of encouragement as I do each and every Monday morning. Today on Monday morning tea time, I want to look at Matthew chapter 14. It's a passage that you are very familiar with if you studied the Bible. It's where Jesus is walking on the water. In Matthew chapter 14, they're out in the middle of the lake. It's late at night. It's 3 a.m. to be exact, and they are in the middle of a storm. And as they're trying to keep, and when I say they, I'm talking about the disciples. When they're trying to keep the boat afloat, here comes Jesus walking towards them. They are fearful. They think they see a ghost. And he says, "Fear not, it is me." And in that incredible moment, Peter asked Jesus, "May I come to the water towards you?" And Jesus said, "Come." And Peter got out of the boat and he walked on the water towards Jesus. A couple of thoughts that I think is really important for us to understand as we look at this and as we move into this week. The first thing is that there was a difference between Peter and the other 11 disciples. I believe that if all 12 of them had said, "Jesus, let us come onto the water towards you," he would have said absolutely. And there would have been a dance of all dances on the water with 12 disciples with Jesus. Can you imagine the incredible story that Matthew 14 could have been? But unfortunately, the 11 are the majority. And it's the same in today's world. The difference between Peter and the rest of the disciples is that the 11 disciples did not see Jesus. Yes, they heard Jesus, but they didn't see him. They were consumed with the waves and the wind and the storm. And Peter saw Jesus. So the question of the hour is simply this. In the middle of your life that you're experiencing today, with all that you have going on, the winds, the waves, the storms, all the pressures, all the relationships, all the financial issues, all of the health issues, whatever it is you're dealing with, in those moments that you continue to battle through, do you see Jesus or do you see the struggle? Because the beauty of the passage is that Jesus said, "I am here, fear not." And he's saying the same thing to you today. He's saying, "Fear not, I am here." And I want to be like Peter, who saw Jesus in the middle of a struggle, because Peter experienced the same thing as the other disciples. He was in the middle of the same circumstance, but he saw Jesus and he was willing to engage him. He was willing to not only engage him, but to listen to him, because Jesus said in that passage, "Come, Peter." He had to know that he knew that Jesus said, "Come into the water," because something was about to happen that was supernatural. God was going to do the miraculous. He was going to allow Peter to walk on the water, and he did. But Peter had to first hear him. God is speaking in your situation. The question is, are you listening? He speaks in many ways, but he's speaking. Take time out and listen. I assure you, he is speaking. And the last thing that I would say to you about this passage is that Peter was willing to risk. He didn't fear failure. And yes, he sunk. And yes, he got his eyes fixed on the storm after he was out there. And Jesus kind of scolded him and he said, "Oh, you have little faith." But I'm like, what about the other 11? They didn't even get out of the boat. They lived vicariously through Peter. Stop living vicariously through other people. God has his story for you. He wants you to live on purpose. He wants your life to count. And so I encourage you today to understand that you don't have to fear failure. Failure is a normal part of life. But through that, we continue to learn. Peter got up and Jesus helped him. So understand today, regardless of whatever it is you're going through, that you can be a water walker. You were not created for the boat. You were called to be on the water with Jesus, to live the supernatural and to find the purpose he's always called you to have. Because he loves you. He always has and he always will. He goes before you and behind you, and absolutely nothing can take you out of his hands. I do pray you have a blessed week. And to this truth I say, all right and amen.